Hi everybody, good evening, welcome to another one of my late night streams. And particular greetings to Reg, great to have you in. You're on the first one in the stream actually. So how are you? Hope you're fine. We are on this final stretch towards the weekend, just the Friday between us and the weekend. And yeah, as usual, Friday morning I don't have to get up that early, so I can afford to do a little bit of late night streaming. So, as usual, a tiny little introduction for all those people who are not familiar with the game or not familiar with my streams. So we just start with this kind of beautiful scenery here. What you have, the moon. Yeah, our course is northwest, so it looks like the moon is about to set in the west. It's 1:20 at night, and it's the 12th February of 1943. So we are more than 3 years in the war. in the war. And yeah, what I do here is I am doing a complete walkthrough through the war. I started in the very beginning of the war in September 39, just before the raid on Poland. And yeah, I started the game back then from the scratch with the tiny little Type 2 submarine with low range, low maximum speed, few torpedoes on board, and yeah, you play the game in this beautiful open world. So the whole world is, well, actually not yet the Pacific, but say the whole world except for the Pacific, and this is about to be developed, is on the map. So this is really open world. And yeah, I started at the port of Wilhelmshaven with that small Type 2, and then you get the opportunity to earn your merits in the North Sea and the eastern parts of the Atlantic. And yeah, step by step I showed that I had the guts to become commander of a Type 7. So by now I'm the proud commander of a Type 7C. And yeah, once in a while we transferred to the home base of La Rochelle so we could extend our missions to the mid-Atlantic. And then, after some more successful missions, we finally got the milk cows available for us from headquarters, which means we could position supply submarines, large, bulky supply submarines, and only this allowed us to cross the Atlantic and still then refuel and have enough fuel to do missions along the American coast. So we finished Operation Drumbeat, sinking 200,000 tons of merchantmen in this area here. We finished the attack on Aruba, where we actually at night sneaked into gunfire range of the shores and destroyed a few oil tanks. And after being successful there, I retransferred from La Rochelle to Bergen, because on the doorstep of Bergen we have the Arctic Convoys mission set, and I've already finished the first one. You see we are at above 50,000 tons. Next milestone is 100,000 tons to be sunk in these quadrants here. And yeah, right now we just did a hydrophone check, and yeah, let's zigzag a bit through the area. And yeah, that's the open world character. You can do a lot about the difficulty settings, but I'm playing at almost maximum difficulty setting, which, for example, gives me dark nights. So the moon really makes a difference. We still see something when the moon is gone. It will be pitch black darkness. Well, more or less. Until sunrise. And yeah, we have to patrol the waters. There are no scripted encounters, like every 10 minutes an scripted encounter, but it's just real convoys moving on real trade routes. And so it's really, well, might happen that you do hydrophone check by hydrophone check and just don't find anything, and at other times on other patrols you run into one convoy after the other. Pretty much, yeah, a bit of good luck or bad luck. So fingers crossed that we soon find a few fat convoys. Yeah, Rek, so you bought it recently. So I think if you start the game, it's just fair or maybe even recommendable not to go to the high difficulty levels, but maybe start it on lower ones. I'm not quite sure. I'm playing this game since so long, but I guess if you start with the highest difficulty settings, it might be a bit frustrating in the beginning. So guys, number of watches going up. Great to have you in. Good evening and welcome. So let's rush into the last lap of the week. Soon it's Friday. Actually, around here in 11 minutes, Friday begins. It's 11 to 12 to midnight here in Germany. Let's see. Yeah, we have just a bit of water in the build, pretty uncritical. You always collect a bit of water there. Nothing to worry about. Yeah, it's great, isn't it? So, yeah, let's see. Let's keep that in mind. So, if you have any questions about some specific stuff, don't hesitate to ask. I mean, I don't know everything, but yeah, as I said, I do have a few years of experience with the game, so there might be quite a few things which I could answer. Or maybe if you just watch, perfectly fine. So guys, now here we are, it's nighttime and we are gonna do a bit of time acceleration. Here Mr. Schneider is doing the regular torpedo maintenance. That's his priority. And on we go. Here we have Mr. Hinrich, and he's operating the radar detector. When you start the game anew, in the beginning of the war, the radar detector is not yet available. But yeah, now this helps us, particularly at night, so you see the vision range is relatively small, and the radar detector would warn us definitely earlier about incoming airplanes. it's still the same. Really wonder why nobody is manning the conning tower. We have it on priority 9, so I don't know. Well, the captain's on the bridge, and that's fine, and should be sufficient. So, yeah, let's do some time acceleration. That was 2 o'clock. That's change of watch. So Mr. Grade, our chief engineer, took over, and he's taking care for the engines again. Giving him 2 crewmates for support, which finally means that we will use 30% less fuel if you have one of the engineering officers plus 2 crew hands, like fine-tuning the engines. They will run with using less fuel. Food, just fine. At the moment I just offer 1 type of food, and the discipline is alright. So on we go. Now it's 4 hours until the next change of watch, which would be 6 o'clock. No. Mr. Schultz, our bosun, took over the watch, and he's no engineering officer, but he's a disciplinary officer, so what he can do is improving navigation correctness. So there he is at the map, and we can also give him some hands. And this also reduces fuel usage a bit. And now let's see, we are heading southwest, so in the east we see the first hints of coming daylight. And it's 6 o'clock. Remember, it's still winter, mid-February, and we are relatively far in the north. So the days will still be relatively short, and the sun will come up rather late and will go down pretty early. But I love these views. Here the spray going high up while the bow is cutting through the waves. The graphics is beautiful, I think. Now question is, hey, come on, let's do another hydrophone check. Which, you have that button for the hydrophone check. And this is some standard workflow. So when you press that button, all the off-watch crew is going to run for the fore compartment, assembling there. Someone is opening the valves. 2 crew hands manning the depth steers, and opening the valves means that we are letting seawater rush into the ballast tanks as fast as possible. Hey, Aquicing, good evening. I hope you are well. Hope you had a good Thursday. How are you doing? By the way, pretty nicely simulated. It's even simulated that the fore ballast tank is flooded first for diving, and then the stern ballast tank. A lot of nice details. Down we go. And before sunrise, it's pitch black darkness underwater. At daylight, it looks pretty nice. Now, hydrophone check means that Mr. Hinrich, one of our hydrophone and radio officers with the support of one crew hand. Here in this little booth you can only assign one crew hand. So it depends on the job whether you can assign two or just one crew hand. For example, when some officers do maintenance on the stern torpedo, you can also only assign one additional crew hand because it's too cramped there astern. Yeah, now when we have reached 50 meters, the crew will automatically turn off the engines, and we will stay down here just for 5 minutes doing the check. And then, yeah, we don't have to do anything. It's all kind of a workflow. The crew will bring the boat back to the surface after 5 minutes. And Mr. Hinrich listening. Yeah, and we are actually making use of the fact that sound propagates over enormous distances underwater, which means that with this advanced hydrophone that we have, we actually reach a range of something like 90 miles radius. And within this radius, we will detect just any moving propeller. Yeah, when there is a storm going up there, the more wind and the worse the weather is, the smaller the hydrophone range is, because you get a lot of disturbances from that. Hey, Tarla Brown, nice to have you in. Good evening, how are you doing? Always happy also to get some chat feedback from YouTube. Yes, Uprising, I'm still on the Arctic missions. So, yeah, the last mission was pretty unsuccessful. So we did hydrophone check after hydrophone check and didn't run into a single convoy. So we are still at 52,000 tons. What about you, Aquaicing? I remember you saying that you also do the Arctic missions, but I think you mentioned that you were kind of... yeah, alright, so you're a little bit ahead of me. Are you still doing the Arctic, or have you abandoned it? I understood that you were thinking about stopping it for a while and turn for the south. No contact yet. Yeah, I don't know about the training missions. When I started to play the game something like, I don't know, more than 6 or maybe even 7 years ago, the training missions were kind of buggy. And it was back then that when you start a campaign, choose difficulty settings, and then do the training missions, your difficulty settings were kind of bugged from that on. And so since these early days of the game, I never did the training missions anymore. So to be honest, I don't know. So anybody in the chat, does anybody have any experience about this problem here, which Tarla Brown just did put into the YouTube chat? I have a problem picking the return to port on the training mission. Yes, in the past they were very buggy. But yeah, as I said, it's years ago that I tried the training missions. And back then they were so buggy that I never did them. But, well, actually nowadays, at least the whole game is very unbuggy. I mean, or put it like, the game is very stable.
20 Meter.
Okay, so Tyler Brown here in the Twitch chat, Rec, he says that he did all the training missions and for him it was fine. So, Rec, was it on what system are you playing? Because Tyler Brown actually did it on PS5. And he says he just can't click on the blue dot. Yeah, it's a pity when the training missions are buggy, because this might kind of piss off a lot of people. So best just to go right into a campaign and learn it on the job, yeah. And maybe by watching a few YouTube videos and Twitch streams. Yeah, acquiescing, I agree. This is how I would do it as well, yeah. There we are. Still no sun, but daylight is coming. On we go. And another one. So this is all that we can do now. Doing one hydrophone check after the other. Yeah, I'm playing almost 100%. Actually, the only major difficulty setting that I didn't put to the highest difficulty level is the impact, or yeah, the damage impact of the depth charges. I put that to medium, not on hard. And even on medium, it really gives you a hard time. So my guess is when you do it to hard, you would not survive any near hit of depth charges. And there we go down. Hey, Captain Mongol. Good evening. Nice to have you in. How are you doing?
25 Meter.
Ah yes, I didn't yet do a manual save, so whenever I start a new stream, I also give it a new save at least once. W271 is the name. Here we go. Okay, so the sea seems to be pretty shallow because the crew doesn't bring us down to 50 feet, so it brings us to the safest. Here you see the depth via mouse over.
30
So
Meter.
when I put the mouse to the boat on the map, it gives us up there to the top right that it is 50 to 100 meters. This is what the map says.
35 Meter.
Yeah, we could even give it a ping with the echo sounder.
Melden Sie mir die aktuelle Tiefenmessung.
So now, one officer, yeah, in this case Mr. Strauss, he's on off watch, so sorry Mr. Strauss for waking you up. He's my rookie radio man.
4 Meter.
Okay, we have 34 more meters underneath the keel. Yeah, so we could have gone to 50 meters, but the crew tries to play safe.
Ich erwarte Ihre Befehle.
And still no hydrophone contacts. What we can do, of course, is we could check it by ourselves, but I think it's relatively reliable what Mr. Hinrich actually does. Yeah, that's a good point, Captain Mangol. I don't know, but I mean, you couldn't be on a 3 weeks trip not changing your underwear, yes, but or maybe you could. And if you change it, do they have some facility to wash their clothes on the submarine? These kind of trivial questions were never answered in the famous movies.
Aktuelle Tiefe.
Anybody
30
knows?
Meter.
I mean, anybody in the chat? Do you have some more detailed information how they did it in the submarines with changing clothes and washing laundry, doing the laundry? There we come back to the surface. Here we are.
Reckerloy, wir sind aufgetaucht.
Yeah, the sun is up now, high up above the horizon. And there we carry on. So it's 10 o'clock, next change of watch. Nobody on the conning tower. I really don't know what that is. So this is something. Does anybody of you did anybody of you run into that problem? So again and again they say we don't have enough sailors for the conning tower to man it. So, but at the moment there is just 4 officers out of the watch being on duty. But if you look at the squads, all the squads have more than 4 people. So I really wonder what the matter is with the guys. I don't know. Really don't know. Don't know why they're not manning the conning tower for observation. Well, okay, yeah. Yeah, you're right. It's often referred to the stink in the submarine. Yep, that's right. So this answers the question as well.
Ich könnte etwas Hilfe gebrauchen. Betrachten Sie es als erledigt, Herr Kaloy.
On we go. 2 o'clock. Next change of watch.
Könnte etwas Hilfe gebrauchen.
Here we are. Yeah, it's 2 o'clock and the sun is very low above the horizon. But until now we are pretty lucky with the weather. Fingers crossed that it stays like that. Let's go for another 2 hours or something and then do another hydrophone check.
Kurs auf diese Koordinaten setzen.
And there we go. Next check.
Tauchen auf 50 Meter.
Yeah, the English coast is infamous. Particularly the Irish Sea. Yeah, and what I always think about is that you have a maximum wind speed of 25 knots. And I think on the not Richter scale, on the Beaufort scale, that's not yet all that you can get.
Wie lauten Ihre Befehle, Herr Kaloy?
Yeah, now it's almost 6 o'clock and the sun is already down. And down we go as well.
Meter.
Torpedorohr 1 gewartet.
Yeah, now our hydrophone detection range reaches far out of our patrol area, but if we would detect any enemy convoy out of the patrol area, we could still chase it down and it would count for the patrol. Only thing is that the Arctic mission area ends actually here. So if I would chase down some ship down here, it might well count for the 10,000 tons that we shall sink for the mission, but it wouldn't count for the Arctic missions because it's out of the Arctic mission defined range. Yeah, food is still alright.
Meter.
Ich benötige hier etwas Unterstützung.
Jawohl, Herr Kaloy.
No.
Ich benötige hier etwas Unterstützung. Bestätige.
45 Meter.
I'm a bit surprised when I switch to the cross-section view. I don't have the row of offices available anymore, but I should. So, anybody of you, could you give me a hint if I have to press a certain key to get them? Toggle user interface. Yeah, aqua icing. Here in the map I still have the faces of the officers, and when I go to this view I don't have the faces of the officer down here, but I think you usually have. And so I wonder what I did that they vanished, or what I have to do that they come back. Here these. They should be down here, but they aren't.
Ich erwarte Ihre Befehle.
Yeah, but wouldn't they be in that view? Yeah, that's it, but I also should be able to click them down here. That's clear, yeah, I can do that, but I should also have exactly this row of faces, so you can click them, choose them, and make them do things down here. And that's a bit weird that we don't have it. Yeah. Yeah, the Alt key just gives me these additional icons.
Anblasen.
Yeah, there we have the additional ballast tanks down there.
5 gewartet.
Also nice that you get that information.
Aktuelle Tiefe 40 Meter.
Fuel tank number 2. No, you mean if I click on, yeah, good point. Let me, for example, click on Mr. Strauss, but I don't have it down here. They should be lined up at the bottom right.
Auf Dieselmotoren wechseln.
Herr Kaloy, wir sind aufgetaucht.
I think I had that bug before, and I'm not quite sure. I might remember that. I just reloaded the game. So let's give it a save once. Okay. And now we're gonna save it. Yeah, here.
Erledigt, Herr Kaloy.
That's not the one that I want to have. Orbit view, yeah, well. Okay, alright, so for whatever reason, they are back. Yeah, that was a bug, I think. But if this is the only type of bug and you can repair it that easy, I would never complain. Yeah, somebody please turn on the pump.
Pumpe einschalten.
Yeah, just changing the point of view, that was a good tip. It kind of, yeah, fixed that bug. Thank you very much for the hint. So, yeah, exactly. So Mr. Schultz is on the watch, caring for map precision. And let's carry on. It's midnight. It's not midnight. Okay, 6 o'clock. Yeah, the sun just has gone down. And we carry on. Let's go till 10 o'clock. And the moon is up. And there we have a beautiful half moon. I love it when the moon is reflected on the water and shines on the deck of the boat. That looks so great.
Kurs auf diese Koordinaten setzen. Kurs setzen.
Ich könnte etwas Hilfe gebrauchen. Natürlich, Herr Kaloy.
And
Tauchen auf.
give us another hydrophone check.
Ich benötige hier etwas Unterstützung.
Yeah, now you nicely see the crew running to the front compartment. I mean, the off-watch crew. It's a bit crowded because Mr. Schneider is just maintaining torpedo number 4. I mean torpedo from torpedo tube number 4. Ballast tanks are being flooded. What about these ballast tanks here? Ballast tank number 3. Number 1.
Aktuelle Tiefe
5.
5 Meter.
Auf E-Motor.
And down we go.
Torpedorohr 3 gewartet.
Now going down to 50 meters, or maybe less. And then turning off the engines.
Herr Kapitän.
So guys, please. So aqua icing, did you have that as well? That you had endless routines of hydrophone check without running into any convoy here in the Arctic? Now silently listening.
Meter.
Yeah, okay, so that sounds good. Maybe we will do better there. You mean on that scale the 2 squares, this one and this one? Or do you mean on that scale this one and this one? Yeah. So that was also my thought. Maybe next mission I should choose areas further north. Yeah.
Aktuelle Tiefe 45 Meter.
Yeah, the smaller scale. Okay, so somewhere around here. Let's hope for the best.
Torpedorohr 1 gewartet. Yeah, you see we are on red light, and that was also some comfortable addition that we got in an update quite some time ago. That was about the boats. So here you can tell the crew to automatically do the air compressors management. I think that's all right, because some micromanagement is not really realistic. If I were the captain, I would issue standing orders that after each surfacing back to the surface, the air compressors shall be turned on. And this happens when you check this box. And you could also have that standing order that after sunset, the red light is going to be turned on. And at sunrise, it's going to be turned off. So do that check. And also about the main hatch. Cool. We'll keep it closed during rough seas and things like that. So I would recommend to actually check these three boxes. Hey, not wet, just cold. Thank you very much for the sub. For the continued sub. It's a pleasure to have you in. How are you doing, by the way? How was your Thursday? Yes, a 2-month streak. Thank you very much. And yeah, a few more people dropping into the Twitch stream. Nice to have you in. Yes. Yeah. It came in.
35 Meter.
Yeah, the system did register it. Is this what you mean by your question? Yeah, thank you very much. Thank you very much for that one. Hey, removed koala. Nice to have you in again. I'm in for something like 50 minutes now.
Wir sind aufgetaucht.
Okay, so I didn't understand the question. What do you mean by new sub, actually? Something I missed, maybe? Yeah, maybe just a little update. So it's 1:30 in the night. And we are doing the Arctic Convoys mission. So we are on one more of these standard patrols. Hunting for convoys. And yeah, we are at the moment following a zigzag path through our patrol area. So everybody please fingers crossed that sooner or later we might run into enemies. Let's give it another save. And carry on. 2 o'clock, change of watch again.
Ich benötige hier etwas Unterstützung.
Kurs auf diese Koordinaten setzen.
Wird erledigt, Herr Kaloy.
And
Tauchen auf.
next
50
hydrophone check. Yeah, it's daytime this time. 9 o'clock, 9:15 in game. And again, we have one of these beautiful views on the conning tower. Yeah, the crew is about to bring the boat down. to 50 meters now. And then down there we will turn off the engines and Mr. Hinrich will do some silent listening.
Aktuelle Tiefe 5
Wow.
E-Motoren wechseln.
Meter. 25 Meter. Meter.
So daylight, so no red light, just the ordinary lighting. And yeah, let's make sure that we don't run out of stores in the galley. If you do actually forget to have
50 Meter.
sufficient stores in the galley, that really ends up in a catastrophe actually.
Torpedorohr 5 gewartet.
Yeah, discipline is alright. We just get a debuff down here because the deeper you go, the more nervous the crew gets, and
45 Meter.
that over the long run has quite a bit of an impact on the discipline. So I guess Mr. Schneider is gonna take a break. Yeah, and we still have perfect weather and perfect detection range with the hydrophone.
Wie lauten Ihre Befehle, Herr Kaloy?
Sorry guys, not that I do have a cold, and I hope I won't get a cold. Yeah, it's again pretty cold around here. The last days, like, yeah, you know, when I say pretty cold, I mean something like around the freezing. And yeah, I well know that quite a lot of you listeners and watchers quite tougher temperatures in winter, but around here, if you have something like -4 degrees in the morning, that's pretty cold. And not very often, so I think we do have a very cold winter this year, if you compare it to the average here in the Frankfurt area. But pretty much looks like we're again not lucky. Let's do a bit of time acceleration. No contacts.
Anblasen.
Aktuelle Tiefe 40 Meter. Meter.
Yeah, all these animations, they are so beautiful, like the boat getting up.
Herr Kaloy, wir sind aufgetaucht.
Torpedorohr 1 gewartet.
Ich könnte etwas Hilfe gebrauchen.
I don't know, what was the probability of air patrols around here? Don't quite remember.
Hilfe gebrauchen.
Hey, navigator, good evening. Yeah, nice to make yourself visible. Pleasure to have you in. How are you doing, by the way? Yeah, okay. So they were depth charging you and you had too much water in to get up again. Oh no, you did get back. Touch and go, alright. Yep. Yeah, this is really the nice moments in the game when you really are caught down there and struggling and struggling. Yeah, but yeah, that you use the buckets, right? But you don't do it the hardcore way, right? You allow yourself to reload. Or would you stop the game now and start a completely new campaign? Some people do it like that, actually.
Ich könnte etwas Hilfe gebrauchen.
Ah, okay, that's your approach. You only save in ports. Yeah,
2 gewartet.
that's also, yeah, that's tough. But yeah, so it was for that one. You didn't make it. I understood. Okay, now it's foggy.
Ich benötige hier etwas Unterstützung.
Late afternoon, or yeah, better say mid-afternoon. Yeah, okay. Yeah, thanks for dropping in. And I hope you have a good rest of the evening, navigator. See you, bye-bye. Yeah, that's also one of these nice features. Also, the fog is done pretty convincing, so you have that pale disk of the sun. Reduced visibility. Yeah, this really makes me feel the moisture collecting in my hair and my clothes and condensating water running into my collar. And it's the chill running down my spine. Anybody, this just crossed my mind. A rat runs down the alley and chill runs down my spine. Anybody whom this rings a bell? It's an AC/DC song, right? It's a line. I don't remember the name of the song, but it's a wonderful blues song, one of the slow ones. Hey, Colin, great to have you in. Yeah, in principle, I'm doing fine. I hope you do fine as well. How are you? Just still no contacts, yeah. Still no contacts. Yes, but I was just about to do the next hydrophone check. Maybe your presence will bring us some luck to detect some convoy. Yeah, there, the crew running to the front compartment. Depth steers being manned. And only somebody has to open the valves. I know they are already opened. Just missed the guy who did it. Yeah, there, the ballast tanks being flooded. And yeah, we will go down any minute.
Aktuelle Tiefe 5 Meter. E-Motorenwechsel.
Herr Kaloin?
25 Meter.
Schraubengeräusche. Peilung 360
Hey,
Grad.
propeller noises, large group. This is what we wanted to hear. So let's check the map. 350 degrees, so we are going that way. 350, they must be somewhere there. Let's ask
50 Meter.
Mr. Strauss to give us some localization. Yeah, relatively far away, but more or less dead ahead. So I usually finish the hydrophone check. You never know if there is some other contacts abroad just as well. So Colin, beautiful. So your presence in the chat actually brought us the luck that we needed. So it's a convoy. Let's call it Convoy 01. It's the first convoy since long
Jawohl.
that we actually did detect. Yeah, a rough distance of more than 50 miles, but that's alright. Yes, bingo, exactly, that's it. Very good. Discipline is alright, almost 100%. Yeah, fuel is not an issue. We are so close to our home port, which is Bergen. All right.
Aktuelle Tiefe 50 Meter.
So we have no idea which direction they are heading. We neither know whether they are closing in or moving away. They are just there. So let's give it a guess. And yeah, let's assume that they are moving with the ordinary 8 knots of large convoys, which would mean that after 1 hour they would be somewhere on that circle. And us, we're gonna change course straight towards them. And where would we be within 1 hour? We are going with something like 16 or 17 knots, say, yeah, done something like that. So we should be there. So now the strategy is get back to the surface and then go for 1 hour and do another hydrophone check, and then we will get a second data point and then extrapolate their course and interpolate their speed. Yeah, this probably is going to be a night encounter. Now it's foggy. Before we had moonlight, so if the fog might retreat, we might have a little bit of moon supporting an attack, but a dark night attack, maybe even in the fog, might be tricky. But let's first find out what their course is, what their speed is. Yeah, there, the sun is about to set in the west. Now it's 4:30. Means we're gonna sail till 5:30. Give it a save. We are, ah shit, I wanted to go fast, flank speed, so I wasted a bit of time like that. But we are going really fast, we are going 19 knots in parts. Alright, 1 hour. And hydrophone check.
Halbe Fahrt voraus. Tauchen auf 50 Meter.
Let's see where they are. Let's see if we hear something. Yeah, discipline is alright. We have sufficient food in the galley. That's perfectly fine. Yeah, ballast tanks being filled. And down we go.
Aktuelle Tiefe 5
Auf
Meter.
E-Motoren wechseln.
So this time we're gonna get some action. Yeah, Mr. Strauss is not as experienced as Mr. Hinrich because, yeah, he's that rookie officer that I took on board something like 3 or 4 missions ago
40 Meter.
and sent my experienced crew mate officer on a longshore leave to actually train another officer to get him experienced, because all the experienced officers that I had were already fully leveled up. So this one is new, Mr. Strauss, the radio man, and Mr. Schultz, the bosun, is new. So they're both gaining experience. Now again, let's see where they are.
45 Meter.
Okay, So they look like moving more away from us, but maybe they are going slower than I anticipated.
Ich erwarte Ihre Befehle.
So it's more like they're going that direction. So it's more like they're going 6 knots. And yeah, for the interpolation, extrapolation of the course
45 Meter.
be like that. Yeah, that's the good thing. The convoys usually are moving relatively slow. We can go at flank speed, we can go 16 or 17 knots on the surface, and they used to go, 8. Most often they are just going 8 knots. And that's alright speed to intercept them. That was much more problematic with the small submarine that you have in the beginning, the Type 2. I think it only made, what did it do? 12 knots? 13 knots, something at maximum, which is really, let me say, a pain in the ass to intercept, to circumnavigate and intercept convoys.
Anblasen.
Okay, no more contacts, only this one. Only this convoy, but yeah, it seems to be pretty large, 22 to 46 units.
Meter.
That's a big one.
Aktuelle Tiefe.
No, they do it automatically. They do this completely automatically to run into the forward room, to the fore compartment.
Diese Motoren wechseln.
Herr Kanoy, wir sind aufgetaucht.
So now that reckoning.
Torpedorohr 5 gewartet.
Yeah, we are changing course
Kurs auf diese
like
Koordinaten setzen.
that. One more hour would bring us roughly there. So this is gonna be a chase now.
Äußerste Kraft voraus.
But yeah, I will let it go on. But I have to be AFK just for 1 minute. So guys, you have the con. Ah, sorry, I need a few more seconds. Alright, here I am back again. Thanks for your patience. So 6 o'clock. Change of watch.
Ich benötige hier etwas Unterstützung.
Okay, yes. No, sorry, Mr. Arles. It's your off watch, but I still need you at the engine so that we can go flank speed. We can only go flank speed when we have one of the officers attending to the engines together with 2 crew hands. So that was roughly an hour. Which means that they should be here by now. Let's see if we confirm it, if we can confirm it with another hydrophone check. Yeah, it's pretty dark by now.
Peilung 340 Grad.
25 Meter.
Ich könnte etwas Hilfe gebrauchen.
There they are. Now let's see. They are pretty much exactly where I guessed them to be. Convoy 01 still.
45 Meter.
So does make sense. Yeah, like before, although we already have located our primary target, let's still finish the 5 minutes of hydrophone check, because you never know, might be other targets around.
Aktuelle Tiefe 45 Meter. Meter.
Yeah, they're heading pretty straight north. So maybe they want to do something like this. Yeah, air quality is completely uncritical for these short dives.
Anblasen. Vierzig Meter. Meter.
Okay, that extrapolation here of that cross looks pretty reasonable. And now, assume them going for another
Herr Kaloi, wir sind aufgetaucht.
7 miles. Would bring them there, and if we continue with our flank speed, 1 hour would bring us maybe here. Then our distance would still be 19 miles, so we would still be far out of reach.
Kurs setzen.
And we have all the time of the world. But yeah, okay, we don't quite know when the moon is gonna set. If we do a night attack, we would like to do it at moonlight. And a few days ago we saw that the moon, I think, set already early morning. just past midnight, I think it was. So this is something which would be interesting to see if you would have some tables where you could look up when sunset actually is to be expected and when moonrise and moonset is actually to be expected. Yeah, and like I always say, what I would actually love to have would be that you have, some difficulty level which you can tune up, that you have something like realistic navigation, that you don't have your position marked on the map, but that you have to do it all by yourself, by dead reckoning, and maybe with the sextant, shooting the sun, getting your latitude, and the longitude by a chronometer. I would love it so much. I mean, really, like, then you would have to mark your own position on the map just as well. And that would be so great. So it's nighttime and it's foggy. I don't know, do we have the moon up? Yeah, in the fog we wouldn't, the moon wouldn't help us much in the fog probably. So let's do a little bit of time acceleration and let's carry on for 1 more hour till 7:45. Here we are, and another hydrophone check.
Tauchen auf 50
So now we already have 3 data points, and this one will be the 4th data point. This one here, position 1, position 2, position 3. And taking these positions here, it gives us 14 miles, so it looks like maybe they're more traveling with 7 than with 6 miles. That's pretty important to determine their speed, because you need that for your torpedo solution. And I really never quite get this speed measurement done with the stopwatch.
Aktuelle Tiefe 5 Meter.
auf E-Motoren wechseln.
Herr Kaloin,
All right,
25 Meter.
guys, where are you?
der feuchte Nebel steiget. Mein Tagwerk ist getan. Mein Tagwerk ist getan.
45 Meter.
Schraubengeräusche, große Gruppe, Peilung 330 Grad.
3 gewartet.
Okay, propeller noises, large group.
Meter.
So since a while, I think that they are actually doing zigzagging courses. I mean, not what you would know from the beginning of the war when they recognize a submarine being around. They do this, yeah, short scale wiggling of the helm. But most of the convoys that I was running in now, since something like a few weeks or say the last months in the game, they were actually doing large scale zigzagging. Like, so we have to expect that this convoy is also doing something like actually not moving this average course that I have here, but moving something like 45 degrees like that, then doing a 90 degrees course change like that, like that, like that, like that. And this really makes it considerably more difficult to get a clear target on them and a good torpedo solution. So it's 3 hours and 21 by 3 is 7. Yep. Imagine they wouldn't teach these kinds of calculations anymore at school, because they say, hey, the kids are using a computer anyway. You were completely lost in U-boat.
Herr Kaloin?
Yeah, just a mini bit of water in the bilge.
Torpedorohr 1 gewartet.
Anblasen. Aktuelle Tiefe 10 Meter. Auf Dieselmotoren wechseln.
Alright, back to the surface. Yeah, but as I said, I was never happy up to now with this speed measurement that you have in the game. I always, at least maybe I never quite got how it worked, but for me it's always enormous guesswork with enormous error bars. So what I do here with the dead reckoning on the map is much more precise than anything that I get out of these stopwatch measurements via periscope. So them and us.
Kurs Kurs auf diese Koordinaten setzen.
And we are still going flank. That's good. Let's give it another save. Ooh. There we are, chasing through the night.
Torpedorohr 4 gewartet.
5 to 8, let's go till 5 to... Yeah, maybe this is not quite true because we always have this time in between, so maybe it's more 6 knots than 7 knots. Now I was really going fast. "18 knots in the average. Amazing." Yeah, this only works when you have perfectly flat sea, more or less flat sea. So now it's 9 o'clock in the evening, and estimated distance to the convoy would still be 14 miles. Let's give it another hydrophone check.
Tauchen auf 50 Meter.
Ich erwarte Ihre Befehle.
Aktuelle Tiefe 5
Auf
Meter.
E-Motoren wechseln. Ich erwarte Ihre Befehle. Raumgeräusche. Große Gruppe. Peilung 300.
25 Meter.
Okay. But what you have to keep in mind, and what is,
Aktuelle Tiefe
as far as I would say, realistically implemented in the game, is that you actually have a widespread convoy, and if I get the contact here, the convoy might stretch over there. So I think it's always like, it depends on the direction. So if you would take the hydrophone check from this side here, you would have the contact here. If you would take it from that side, you would have it here. Like you always get the reflections from those ships which are the closest to your position.
40 Meter.
And now another another 1 hour at 7 knots would bring them there.
Meter.
Yeah, so guys, there are quite a few guys in the stream, and yeah, don't feel observed. I just see the numbers. I don't see your names. But let me mention that I would always be pretty happy for you participating in the chat, putting some comment down. If it's only a hi. Hey, it's a dronar. Nice to have you in. Yeah, great. How are you doing? You are in this stream for the first time, I see. Hi. Yeah, that's great. I was just about to try to invite all of you guys to participate in the chat. No pressure. It's perfectly fine if people just lurk. But of course, like the droner, you make me even the more happy, being just a little streamer, if you give some feedback in the stream. Ah, you did buy it today. Yeah, I'm fine. I'm fine. I'm pretty relaxed. Hey, thank you very much, Zitrona, for the follow. That's too kind of you. That's very much appreciated. Yeah, I had a decent week, and so job-wise, family-wise, everything's pretty alright. And yeah, game-wise, my last 1 or 2 streams were a bit, say, lacking in counter. So this is why I'm very happy that now finally, after having done hydrophone check after hydrophone check, I finally ran into that beautifully large convoy. Yeah, nice to read that you actually bought the game just today, and I would say it's very, very well invested money. I might repeat myself, but in my opinion, this is the best U-boat sim ever. So many nice aspects. This, yeah, really, that's this real open world that we get. The graphics I pretty much like. It really gives you this level of immersion. Right now we are underwater. It's night, so you wouldn't see much in the external view, but this cross-sectional view, I really love it. And yeah, you never got it that beautiful as we get it in this game. And yeah, the game might be a little bit kind of overwhelming in terms of realism and functions, but if you tune down the difficulty settings for a start, I think it should be alright. Have you been playing already? A bit? The droner? Did you already get something like a first impression of how it feels to really play it? Yeah, the problem is that was some discussion that we had something like half an hour ago here in the chat about the training missions, tutorial missions. In the past they were very bugged, so the whole game is pretty stable and very few bugs, I would say, but these training missions, they felt very bugged. But I haven't been playing it for, I can say for years because of that. Maybe meanwhile they are better, but if you have been playing the training missions and you say you ran into a couple of minor bugs, then I would promise that the game itself would be much better and virtually bugless.
Yeah, before we forget it,
Grenzlupe einschalten.
let's have somebody turning on the pump to get that bit of water out. Now let's get onto a parallel course. Yeah, we are leaving the mission area, but that's not a problem. All these quadrants up here are also part of the Arctic convoy, so it's perfectly fine if we sink the guys just out of that marked square. Yeah, that's a good point. Yeah, you really pointed down to what it is. Yes, that's right. The training missions, tutorial missions, they are scripted, and all the missions in the game, they are not. Yeah, it's funny. I never looked at it from that point of view, but that's perfectly true what you say. The programmers, they do a wonderful job about giving us this beautiful open world, but yeah, well, that's the whole concept of the game. So these kind of scripted missions, they don't quite fit into the concept of the game. So yeah, we already talked about that, as I said, half an hour ago, and we came to the conclusion that maybe it's best to swap, to not do the training missions, to just skip them and play the game maybe on very low difficulty level for a start, and then successively increase it depending on how you feel. Yeah, right. Nobody likes doing making programming tutorials. Yep. That's right. And so it's often like that. Tutorials are not that good. Well, they become better over time. I mean, like, if you look back something like 10 years ago, the average tutorial, I would say, was worse than it is today. Is my gut feeling. I don't have any any reliable statistics about that. Yep. Yep. So 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. No. Let's go for another hour, something like that. And keep on going. Yeah, Sims, that's clear, yeah. I understood what you mean, I think. Let's give it one more save. And let's now carry on with flank speed for one more hour. O'clock, change of watch.
Ich könnte etwas Hilfe gebrauchen.
10 past, right? Yeah, here we are. And give us one more hydrophone check.
Tauchen auf 50 Meter.
Okay, see, the fog is gone. And now we do have a bit of moonlight. Yeah, the moon being high up, maybe this gives us the opportunity to actually
do a periscope night attack. Maybe the moon sheds enough light. Ooh, let's see. Problem is, well, problem. I play on almost maximum difficulty level, so also on dark nights, realistically dark nights, and without a moon, you would surely not be able to do a night attack. Well, let's see what we can do.
Aktuelle Tiefe 5 Meter. Motoren wechseln.
Yep, that's right, Colin. That's what I think. Yep.
Geräusche. Große Gruppe. Peilung 240 Grad. 25 Meter.
I think the moon is already on the way down.
Ich erwarte Ihre Befehle. 45 Meter.
Yeah, okay. That was a bit more than an hour, for sure.
Ja? Meter.
Yeah, that's right. The water physics are great, and for a naval sim, of course, the water physics is a lot for the atmosphere and everything. Yeah.
45 Meter.
So I don't know. Shall I go in? Do I dare to do this night approach? It's pretty dark. Yeah, Colin, that's right. And when I was coming back to this game, something like 2 years ago or 3, I haven't been playing it for a while, and then I recognized that the developers had really been making a fully grown game out of it, and that it really worked, but I was still a bit lost about the settings, the crew settings, priorities and everything. Yeah, back then I have been watching a few YouTube videos to clarify it, and yeah, that helps. All the tutorials that you have still don't help you with these settings, right? So this is the only chance that you have, this crew management, this about the priorities, the scheduling, the squads. I don't think that it is thoroughly explained somewhere in the game. Or is it, meanwhile? In the past it was not. So this is kind of a certain barrier for people to start that game. It does have, how would you call it, a steep learning curve? I'm never quite happy with. I think when people say it has a steep learning curve, they mean. Yep. Hey, Colin. All right. Wolf Yeah, Wolfpack 345.
Torpedorohr 2
He's doing
gewartet.
great streams and YouTube videos. Yeah.
Anblasen.
There we go, back to the surface. And now I really have to make up my mind finally. Of course, one solution would be to just put ourselves onto a parallel course and wait until sunrise
Auf Dieselmotoren wechseln.
and then attack at dawn, which is pretty efficient. Like at dawn, there is a point from what time onwards you have enough light for a periscope attack, but they still have trouble to see your periscope in the twilight. Yeah, but it would need a bit of patience if we would actually continue this until sunrise. Maybe, yeah, come on, let's try. I mean, let's try a moonlight attack, and if it fails and we survive it, we could still do the sunrise dawn attack. Like in these classic Western movies, they say that the Indians always attack at dawn. Yeah, well, I think that's even not from these movies, but I think I read it in this German adventure novel classic of Karl May. Yeah, there was a German writer who published books. I think it was in the end of the 19th century that he did publish these books, or beginning of the 20th century. And yeah, he was writing novels about the Wild West back then and his personal adventures. And yeah, as a youth or a kid, it was wonderful adventure novels, but this guy actually claimed back then that he really had these adventures and he never had been there. It was all made up. Actually, he spent quite a few years in prison because of fraud and being convicted of fraud. And so coming back to Dresden, where he lived, he told his friends and his acquaintances that he had been traveling, and so writing these these novels, it's in the first person view, the whole novel. And yeah, so he actually pretended to that it was really him having gone through these adventures. Yeah, but he's pretty famous, and although all was made up, still people loved the stories. I mean, nowadays it's a bit outdated, but yeah, he's pretty famous. And yeah, he didn't only write novels about the Wild West and his travels to the Wild West, but also about his adventures in the Middle East back then. And he never visited the Middle East just as well.
Torpedorohr 3 gewartet.
Yeah, a bit, maybe a bit in the style of like Jack London novels. Although I would say Jack London is the much better artist and writer. Still, this guy, this Karl May, yeah, he really left his footprint in German literature. Yeah, so now I'm talking and talking to kind of, yeah, postpone the decision that I have to make. So 1 more hour and they would be roughly there. And for us doing the interception, 1 more hour would bring us there. So let's see that we get nicely
Kurs setzen.
in front of them. Yes, yeah, it is. So you see this one here, that's the number that tells you the depth, and it's mouse over. So look at this one here, and yeah, look at this one with one eye, and look at my mouse with the other, and it's mouse over. So where you put the mouse, that actually gives you the depth of here. Everything is, yeah, fathomlessly deep. But now if you move the mouse closer to, for example, here to the Shetland Islands, you see it becomes more shallow. 400 to 500 meters, getting closer, 50 to 100, 100 to 200. This is where you can get that information, and I love it because this is exactly the information that you would get from a naval map with these lines. And what you can also do is you can use the echo sounder there, or here, if you would actually send an echo sounder ping, which I wouldn't do right now because I'm too worried that this might arouse the attention of that convoy towards me. But if you click here, then one crewmate would go to the echo sounder and make it ping and tell you how deep it is exactly. Not just like these rough kind of, but actually this is too deep for the echo sounder. The echo sounder only works to a certain depth, and this is way beyond. And it actually doesn't matter now if it's 2,500 or 3,000 meters, really doesn't make any difference because you would already die at 300. Yeah, what about the moonlight? Yeah, the moon does shed some light. Problem is, it's pretty dependent now. So right now it's southwest. Looks like the moon is more or less in the southwest. Well, we will see. Let's now, in the first step, put ourselves right into the way of that convoy. And the plan actually is then to go to periscope depth, turn off the engines and let them just run over us. Of course, it's a bit of, yeah, you have to be lucky. Or if you're unlucky, then one of the escorts is just running close and is going to spot you, either your periscope or just by pinging by ASDIC. Hey guys, there is a hell lot of people watching on YouTube. And also a nice bunch of people watching on Twitch. So guys, keep in mind, I just see the numbers, don't feel observed. I just see the number of watchers, but I'm so very happy if you would just participate in the chat, give some comment, what you think about the game, what your experiences are, what you think about the stream. I don't mind any backseat driving, that's just perfect. On the other hand, don't feel pushed, perfectly fine if you just watch.
Kurs auf diese Koordinaten setzen.
Okay, I think this is alright now. Let's do another hydrophone check.
Tauchen auf.
That was roughly an hour. But to be honest, I didn't quite keep track of the time. Yeah, the Overwatch crew again assembling in the fore compartment to give additional diving ballast to get the bows down quickly. And this is actually why the fore ballast tank is always flooded first, to accelerate the diving process. I love these details that you get in this game. And yeah, look at, now I'm too slow. Look at the stern ballast tank, it's always a little bit shifted in phase.
5 Meter.
Auf E-Motoren.
And down we go.
Meter.
Ich erwarte Ihre Befehle.
Meter.
Schraubengeräusche. Große Gruppe. Peilung 0 Grad.
All right.
Aktuelle Tiefe 50 Meter.
Yeah, that's what I said. Now, coming from that ahead, I have another center of mass of the bulk convoy.
Meter.
Now I have to be a little bit hand waving about entering the contacts.
Ja.
So what's the rough distance? 10 miles. All right.
Meter.
Mr. Schneider doing the maintenance on the stern torpedo. The galley is fine. And Mr. Hinrich.
Torpedorohr 5 gewartet.
So now half an hour would bring them there. And half an hour would bring us much further, of course. So let's say 15 minutes would bring them there. 15 minutes would bring us 4 miles, right? Something like that. And then the distance would be 4 miles. Yeah, let's see that we just finished the hydrophone check and then get back to the surface for 15 minutes.
Motoren wechseln.
Herr Kaloi, wir sind aufgetaucht.
So 10 to 12. All right, there they are. We are close. But yeah, it's pretty dark, so really hard to spot them. Wow, they're close. They're all hull up already. Guys, we have to go to
Auf Seerohr
periscope depth quickly. Flank, flank. Get the boat down.
Herr Kaloi, wir sind auf Seerohrtiefe. Boot für Rundblick eingesteuert.
Auf E-Motoren wechseln.
And that's good. So, Mr. Schultz, would you
Luftziel Seerohr
go
besetzen.
for the
Ich benötige hier etwas Unterstützung.
Natürlich. Herr
observation periscope, please?
Schraubengeräusche. Große Gruppe. Peilung 0 Grad. Ich erwarte Ihre Befehle. lauten Ihre Befehle, Herr Kaloy.
So now we are getting close. Save this. And I think I'm gonna save another one. Yeah, so the difference is actually we have two periscopes. We have the observation periscope and the attack periscope. The observation periscope has filters and bigger magnification, but it lacks the distance meter, this steady meter, which determines the distance to the target, which you 100% need for the torpedo solution. So finally you have to use the attack periscope to get the torpedo solution, but for observation purposes it's much more comfortable to use this one here because of the filters.
Etwas Hilfe gebrauchen.
Wird erledigt, Herr Kaloy.
And the problem is this periscope is shorter. You can't poke it so far out of the water. 20 degrees. Okay, it's not as dramatic as I thought it would be. I'm pretty alright ahead of them. Maybe I would move myself a little bit further north. Yeah, this is gonna be a tough one, this attack. I mean, tough in terms of getting the proper torpedo solutions.
Kurs auf diese Koordinaten setzen.
Betrachten Sie es als erledigt, Herr Kaloy.
Hey, Zedronar. It was a pleasure to have you, and thank you very much for the follow. Looking forward to have you in the stream again, maybe in the next days. I am definitely streaming tomorrow night and Saturday night, so if you like, just drop in. Yeah, see ya. Have a good evening. Bye-bye. That's really an enormously large convoy. And this guy there.
Alarm! Konvoi in Sicht! Peilung 310 Grad.
If you ask me, it pretty much looks like a military.
Alarm beenden.
Yeah, stop the alarm. Let's go to Halbefahrt. I do have this gut feeling that this guy is military.
Torpedorohr 3 gewartet.
Okay, guys. Hard decisions to do, but if I look at the number of watches, it tells me that there is only 3 watches now on Twitch, but yeah, quite a lot of watches on YouTube. So hey guys, that's so great to have all of you with me, but yeah, it's really getting late and I still have to work tomorrow, although I can sleep a little bit longer, doing home office and having a few meetings, some online meetings with customers, but yeah, still I have. And so I think it would be a reasonable move to call it a day for now. So let's save it together. so that at that point we can continue tomorrow to close in for a few kills. And let me briefly check if there is somebody that I would like to raid. Not really, guys. So no raid tonight. So everybody, it was a pleasure to have you in. Cedronar, very nice to have made your acquaintance. Aqua Icing. And yeah, there were a few more. There was Navigator, but I think he left. Aqua Icing, great to have you in. I'm pretty sure that you're still there. Removed Koala, you were there as well. Not wet, just cold. Having done the subscription again. Yeah, thank you very much for that. And of course, last but not least, Colin, my dear Scottish watcher, thanks for being in. And yeah, guys, so I'm definitely gonna do some more streaming tomorrow. Or, well, if I look at the time, it's today. And yeah, it's fine, right? It works again. It does work again. I don't have frame drops and nothing. But yeah, thanks for the feedback. That always helps, that you actually confirm that from your point of view it's also all right. So guys, have a good one, and I would be very glad to have you in my stream tomorrow again. Oh, Aqua Icing, yeah, I thought so, that you're still there. Yeah, have a very good one yourself.